yesterday. I said, hey, let's run away toss and bring it up the left side. I want so-and-so in it. It was after a dead ball. It wasn't like I'm calling on the fly. And we bring it up that side, and the person I want in the away toss isn't over there. It's just like, that's happening so consistently right now. I chalk it up to the holidays.
J.J. Redick was not happy about the Lakers' recent struggles on offense, but last night the Grizzlies came to town, and all was forgiven. Let's get to the highlight. This is game 2 of 2 games in 3 days against the Grizzlies. Luka Doncic had 19 points in the first half on 5 of 10 shooting. Another strong half for Doncic, who leads the NBA in first half scoring this season. Then it was LeBron's turn. Now entering Sunday, James has averaged 24 points, 6.5 rebounds, 5 assists since his 41st birthday last Tuesday, and he took over late in this one. Late in the third, LeBron in the drive, kicks to Luka, 3-ball on the way. He nails it. About a minute later, Jared Vanderbilt kicks it to LeBron. He hits a contested 3. In the fourth, Lakers down 4. James on the drive with the left and the finish. Lakers within 2, less than a minute later. LeBron on the wing. He's going to spot up for the 3.
Giving him a shot.
Yeah, another contested one. Lakers down just 1. This time, LeBron, he's going to find Jake LaRavia, who had a great game against his old team.
I was going to say, former Memphis Grizzly.
Yep. LeBron scored or assisted on 17 straight Laker points from the end of the third, midway through the fourth to take a 2-point lead. Then the finishing touches. Luka will get the 3-ball here.
Wow.
It's a pretty good comeback for the Lakers.
Doncic finished with 36, LeBron with 26. Here's LeBron after the game in response to JJ's criticism.
I mean, it's unacceptable. I mean, it's something that, well, I don't know. I can't speak for everybody, but when I was growing up, one, you watched the group ahead of you. That was one, thing that'd get you on the line to be running suicide or sprints. And the other one was, if you mess up a play out of a timeout, that'd be another one to get you running sprints, So that's just how I was brought up. So, it's great that we can have that type of conversation. Guys hear it, take it, and take full responsibility, and then come in here and be able to make that change like that 180 change right away.
Bigs can't feed themselves, and, I just try my best to do what I can, to bring effort. And I trust my playmakers out there to find me.
The Lakers overcame a 16-point deficit to beat the Grizzlies, but it wasn't easy. By the way, the Lakers, to give them credit for all their challenges, they're 12-0 in clutch games this season. The team is having issues, though, okay, certainly at this point, at times defensively. Let's bring Perk back in here. Okay, let's go with Tim then. Tim, so what do you make of the Lakers thus far?
A lot of interesting quotes coming out of the Lakers right now. Don Nelson used to say you've got about 6 bullets you can fire at your team as a coach throughout the course of a season. J.J. Redick seems to fire 6 a week. Like, I don't think he's got a little 6-shooter. He's got, some heavy machinery. And then DeAndre Ayton, bigs can't feed themselves. Passive-aggressive. LeBron talking about he doesn't have the ball that much. I mean, there's just a lot of weirdness coming out of the Lakers right now for a team that's in the thick of things in the West.
Well, look, LeBron said he had one turnover last night, and people were asking him about how he had all these assists and just one turnover. He said, well, I got to take care of the ball when I barely have the ball. I was like, oh, okay. That was an interesting choice of words. I mean, and he's right. In the second half, they were playing through him more. In the first half, they played, obviously, through Luka. So they're sort of trading off there. But that was an interesting choice of words there. I think J.J. Redick is firing off some zingers every single night. That's kind of his personality. If you know him, he's a sarcastic guy. He's not good at sugarcoating things. He doesn't want to sugarcoat things. That's not his style. But I heard him. I'm a mom of young boys, okay? And when you say the same thing over and over and they don't change their behavior, you have to put some consequences on it. And I think if he's saying things and we're not seeing guys drop from the lineup, you even heard LeBron say when you mess up an out of time an ATO, you got to have some consequences. You're going to run sprints. So I don't know what that practice was like the day after he said it, but I'm not seeing really any changes in their lineup. I'm not seeing guys being sat down and having real consequences for those actions. And so until we do, just bomb logic here, they're going to keep doing it.
This is the most downtrodden 22-11 team I've ever seen.
Right?
Are they 11-22 or are they 22-11? And they got winnable games ahead.
Yeah.
They got first world problems.
Right, but they can't beat the good teams is the problem.
Yeah.
That's their issue, is that they beat the bad teams, but they can't beat the good teams. Perk, what do you make of all of this?
I mean, JJ doing all this crying in the media, what the babies go do? Okay, you got to leave some rooms for the babies in the world to do some crying. Nobody want to hear that. And to me, he has lost the ears of the locker room. And I'm not talking about LeBron because we know him and LeBron are always going to be on the same page. Obviously, we're not talking about Luka as well. They're going to be on the same page. But why are the other guys not listening to you? Your role players, the guys that you need to find a way to max out, DeAndre Ayton. And DeAndre Ayton, think about it. His tone has changed. I remember at the beginning of the season when we were asking him, hey, when people were asking questions about his offensive production, and he said, I'm trying to be a better defender, whatever the team needs me to be on the defensive side of things. Now all of a sudden the energy has changed to he wants the ball, he can't feed himself. So if I'm JJ Redick, one, I got to hold myself accountable, meaning I got to figure out a way and change my ways. I know he don't sugarcoat nothing, and we know JJ goes on these rants. But in today's world, in 2025, that's not happening. We didn't see all-time great coaches changed and adapt to new generations. We saw Greg Popovich do it with the Spurs. We saw Rick Carlisle do it in Indiana. And JJ Redick need to do it his damn self. He haven't won the championship. He just got him to the first round.
I'm not
he
saying,
got to humble himself.
Yeah, I'm not saying you're wrong, Perk, but I'll say this before we move on, okay? When we had the Lakers early this season, we asked Luka, what do you like about JJ? And he said, he's a bleep, okay? So, like, these guys know what they're dealing with, at least to that point. All right, the Pistons enter tonight's matchup with a 3-game lead over the Knicks for first place in the Eastern Conference. The 4th-place Raptors and the 8th-place Cavaliers are separated by just a game and a half. And by the way, the Jason Tatum-less Celtics are in 3rd place, just 3.5 games back of the Pistons. Some quick NBA trivia for you guys here with me. Who's topping the scoring chart so far in 2026 through a few days? Any guesses, quickly?
Kawhi?
Marc?
Jaylen
Brown. That's who it is.
Okay, because there's just been like...
He had that big game against the Clippers.
He had 50.
That was a sucker's bet.
So with Jason Tatum out, expectations for Boston coming into the season were obviously modest, to say the least. All right, so Perk, Jaylen Brown has been impactful for sure and changed the trajectory of this Celtics team. How do you view the way Jaylen Brown and the Celtics are playing?
Well, there was a lot of questions whether or not Jaylen Brown was a franchise guy, although he has a finals MVP, a conference finals MVP, and he's answered that question with a hell yeah, I'm a franchise guy. And right now, he's the best two-way player in the game. When it comes down to what he's doing with this team, have them a half game behind second place, averaging 30 on 50% shooting, 37 from 3, and defending on both ends. And what he just did in that head-to-head matchup against Kawhi Leonard this past weekend, because Kawhi Leonard had been killing everybody. Not only did JB go in there and give him a 50-piece all flats, habanero style, he put Kawhi in a straitjacket as well. And so when you think about what he's doing and you think about maybe Jason Tatum returning, oh, man, it's going to be hell and hot water when the Celtics get healthy. In the Eastern Conference, the rest of the Eastern Conference are on notice right now.
How high is that water?
Berg, I was at that game, and I talked to Derek White beforehand, and I go, how different has JB been this season? He goes, he hasn't been different. He's just been more. He's just been more of him, right? And I think that's Jaylen Brown on the plane home back from Sacramento. They're at the end of this long 5-game road trip. He sent a text message to Joe Mazzulla, said, I want Kawhi. And this is after he had tweeted out the SMH, shaking my head when Jalen Brunson got December Player of the Month. Like, usually players don't admit to caring about stuff like that. He put it out there, and he said, I want Kawhi. And he said, I think Kawhi is one of the best two-way players ever. He's an all-timer. I want that challenge. He actually wants the challenge of proving himself. That he said this post-game, that when everybody got traded and injured, that it sucks for us, but it also gave me an opportunity to prove that this is who I am. I like a guy that talks and then backs it up. And I think if they finish in second or third in the East, you got to give him some votes on your MVP ballot. You have to look at him and what the way he's carried this team. Because look at who's playing for the Celtics right now. I mean, they got guys who are at the end of their bench who are starting now.
Yeah, he's been fantastic. He has been other than maybe Victor Wembanyama, right? And I don't know if Victor will play the requisite amount of games, but he's been the best two-way player, and that isn't a specific award. But I think on the perimeter, it's hard to argue that he's been the best two-way player in the sport to this point in the season.
Yeah, I talked to Joe Mazzulla about him, and I'm like, well, what kind of leader is he? He's been a great leader. He holds guys accountable. He plays both ends. Another thing he said, he pulls guys together. He's coachable. And the fact that he plays as well as he plays, he gives us a chance to win every night. And Mazzulla said simply, there's nothing more I could ask for him to do.
So Kawhi had averaged 39 points on 70% shooting during the Clippers' 6-game win streak. Jaylen Brown raised his hand, said, I'm going to guard him. And he held 22 points on 35% shooting. That's pretty good talking the talk, walking the walk.
Yep, no doubt about it. So Boston certainly will keep a close eye on them as the season progresses. Now, this might be the best thing in the show today. It's from Orlando to Miami, where Eric Spoelstra's kids stole the show at last night's postgame presser.
But also, you can't predetermine. So that's part of his growth too. The next opponent might be a little bit different, but he's gaining more confidence with that. Also, as he's getting healthier, I think his drives and attacks are a little bit more of the better call. This is kind of digressing now, guys. All right, you ready? All right, you have anything else, Dante? You want to say something? Let's go.
All right, we have the Spo Bros, and of course, Ruby stole the show there.
It was really her.
What stands out the most here?
I think
These kids are funny, man. He's always so stoic. I hope he cleaned that up right there.
Yeah, there was some stuff going on there. You know, it's that time of year. We all sound a little nasally. You know, there's stuff going around. So
Yeah.
But I think Spo is much more
Just
fun off the court, right? Than he shows us. So I like seeing this.
That's always like me when I have my kids in the back seat when I'm on the call with you guys.
You show your personality.
Next Wednesday, doubleheader Cavs Sixers, followed by Nuggets Mavs. NBA Countdown tips off at 6:30 Eastern.
NBA